Well, he's back. Today I want to talk, yeah, how's that? I want to talk about college debt. Now, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about it, and I think it's abused by both the banks and the students. And here Hillary comes up yesterday and says that no one should have to pay more than 20 years of their life to relieve college debt. Well, if you borrowed that much money, you're a damn fool. Uh, anyway, 20 years debt. Most mortgages now are 15 years. Let's get into the couple of the problems. One of the problems is you come out of school with debt. That follows you no matter where you go. That's on your credit score. No wonder so many of these students are coming out of school and going back and living with their parents. Now, this is putting a hell of a drain on our economy because these are people that are maybe 24 to 31 or 2 or whatever, depending if they went for master's degrees or doctorates or whatever, that can't afford to go out and get that loan to get the car so we don't sell as many automobiles. They certainly can't afford to clear a credit score to get a mortgage. And these are people that are at prime, what do I want to say? They're, they're in the prime age to get their first home, a starter house. And that's hurting the housing industry. And then, of course, all these people aren't buying houses, so they're not buying refrigerators and stoves and freezers and so forth and so on. Uh, so it's putting a real drain on our economy. And student debt exceeds now credit card debt. Last I saw it was between 1.1 and 1.2 trillion dollars. Trillion dollars. Now, associated with this is the fact you might get a college loan that has the ability to set its own interest rate once you're out of college. And they do. And they're raping these poor students. Some of them, a friend of mine's son just married a girl that has come out of school with $200,000 in credit card debt. She'll never pay it all. Never. Never. Now, depends on what position you're after. The debt is, it might be, you might be able to assume that debt if you have a position, say like you're a pharmacist. Now, the last statistics I saw, that those with degrees that come out of school and start at the highest salary are pharmacists. Can you believe that? But they don't have a very high ladder of making more and more money. They start at a high salary and they get increases, but they don't get the type of increases that most industries might give. But when I hear about this girl coming out of school with $200,000 in college debt, it tells me she's one lazy ass. Listen, it's too easy to to get these college loans, and so people, rather than work in the summer, they go to Europe, or they lay around the house, or they don't do a freaking thing. Now, when I went to school, luckily, graduate school, they paid for, the school did. But undergraduate school, I always worked in the summer. Shit, I worked from the time I was 12. At 14, I bought the first issue into Disney stock, and at 18, I sold some of that to pay for my college. My parents never helped me in college, and neither did the banks. So, if you're going to assume this debt, then you must assume it and lock in an interest rate. Number one. Number two, don't be afraid to get a freaking job, even if you are going to school. Because I worked flipping hamburgers when I was, part of the time when I was in undergraduate school, and picked berries in the summer and did all kinds of odd jobs to make some money. And what some of this debt's telling me is these people aren't making money. Now you take a doctor to become a doctor, he might need to assume a couple of $100,000 in debt, but he might also be able to afford to pay that debt once he gets out. Doctors, now we're going to go to the example in Taiwan. There's a big shortage of general physicians now, and the government every year gives billions of dollars to universities to do research. So I think that those universities should give free tuition, or the government should supplement the tuition, not pay the whole thing, for these doctors on the agreement that for so many years after they get out of school, they go to some rural area and become general practitioners. Now the big money isn't in general practitioner, although these guys are averaging over 300,000 a year. And when you figure in the kickbacks from pharmaceuticals and all, they're probably doing a lot better than that. But it wouldn't hurt, in places of need. Say the Chinese are killing us in civil engineering, and we need civil engineers. Well, the government should step in and do the same thing. Should have a national test, and the people that do the best get the it's almost like a lottery, but it's a lottery in which you have to be intelligent to participate, and they get reduced tuition too, and then they come out and have to be civil engineers maybe for some communities for a couple of years, but it's good experience for them anyway. But anyone that goes to school and thinks that this is a free ride, kids have no concept of money. They don't teach they don't teach anything about credit or anything in high school. People should have to go out and like they're responsible, like, to get extra credits looking on your application for colleges, you go out and do community service. Well, you also should be responsible to go into a McDonald's and work for a couple of weeks and see what you think the minimum wage should be. But there's a lot of nuances, and the worst one is the problem of it following you, this credit problem following you, keeping you from buying your home, buying a car, and contributing not only tax wise, but contributing money wise to the economy. This really is a drag on our economy, and it's going to continue to be so. How Bernie's going to pay for everybody to go to college, and believe me, everybody doesn't belong in college. Probably a third of the people that are in there don't belong, and another third aren't going to use the degrees they have. I've got degrees in history, philosophy, biology, a master's in axiology, and I never used one of those in my business, but that's another story for another time. So college debt, first of all, should be harder to get. Secondly, it should be given on the basis of earning potential when you get out of school. Because if you're going to become a history teacher, or you're going to become a school psychologist or something, in which you're capped out at 60 or 70,000, and you've eaten up $100,000 worth of debt, then you're going to be stuck for a long time. And I don't go with this forgiveness after 20 years. If you're supposed to be so bright to go to college, then you ought to have enough sense to realize what the consequences of debt is.